on Grantham, our favorite thing to do, look at future military tech. And boy, do we have a treat for you. Right here, we have the SIG SPEAR, the new rifle of the United States Army. However, as you can tell, this bad boy is short. It was shortened from 13 to 9 inches. This is a special operations capable weapon, or for whatever the Army chooses to use it for. Today, we're going to be chronographing. We're going to be ballistic testing. We're going to be testing recoil. We're going to compare it to current SOCOM-issued weapons. And there is a lot of fun data and a lot of good learning points to learn. Today on Grantham, we're looking at probably the sickest rifle that... it just looks cool, right, Micah?
Yeah, I like its stubbiness.
It's just, it's very aesthetically pleasing. It pleases my monkey brain. So today on Grantham, we are taking a look at the SHORTY SIG M7. But before we get into it, we of course have to thank the biggest sponsor of the channel, who is the, no Charlie, Sonoran Desert Institute. If you're looking to get your start in gunsmithing, we can't recommend them enough. They fund all these videos and they keep them free for you guys. So go and check them out. Tell them that they're awesome and that you love them. And of course, who can we not forget? Micah?
Primary Arms, and maybe one day they'll release an NGSW optic.
You never know. The sky is the limit. Primary Arms makes our favorite optic, which is the 1:8 compact. We love it so much, and they pretty much sell whatever you could possibly want. So go and check them out. And if you want to get better at shooting, we recommend dry fire. Nothing is better than Mantis. It turns your weapon into a dry fire machine. Please go and check them out. And of course, all ammunition is sponsored by AAC. However, they do not make ammunition for the 6.8x51, which is the new round of the United States Army. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, talk is cheap and ammo is
Provided by SIG.
Yeah, provided by SIG. Thank you, SIG.
You're welcome.
They didn't pay us, by the way. They did bring this weapon out for us, but no payment or anything like that, other than the fact that we get to shoot it, which is cool. Is that payment, Micah? Maybe the real shilling was the friends we made along the way. From the M16 to the M4, and from the SIG SPEAR down to the SHORTY SIG SPEAR, typically within militaries, you will have a short variant of a service rifle made. The reason for this is it's more maneuverable. It's easier to take on helicopters or take it into crewed vehicles. It's easier to do special operations stuff with it. So this is nothing new, the fact that SIG decided to make a short variant, but they had to do a lot of weird things to do it. But with all that being said, the SIG SPEAR fires the 277 Fury, which is the round that these are all chambered in, at about 3,060 feet per second to 3,100 feet per second. So what we're going to do with this guy, being that it's 9 inches instead of 13, we're going to see what the velocity is with this 9-inch barrel. And actually, SIG has actually never chronoed this, so I'm really interested.
I kind of saw that coming. That thing is so concussive.
These Garmin things are awesome, but we got 2736. I'm going to try to hold it, like, in place. Yeah, 2748. Oh, pretty close. About a standard deviation of 6 feet per second. Let's try that one more time. Look at that. 2,737. We have to point out that I have a projectile that's 113 grains, traveling about 27.5 feet per second. That's freaking fast. So when we take a look at like our URGIs, the shorty variants, like the 11.5s and the 10.3s, those are typically launching your 5.56 closer to 25 to 26, and those are typically, 55 grain. So we have a very fast, very heavy round. And you certainly feel it in recoil. So let's go ahead and let's show you what the recoil differences look like between the URGI and the SPEAR Shorty. Micah, it's going to be me versus you. Micah, how would you describe the concussive force of this guy?
Having to film it, it's so violent, so ridiculous. You could feel it in your soul.
So we have the suppressor that typically goes on the SPEAR right here. So we've attached it to the Shorty. So we have the URGI, which is current SOCOM issue. But we'll go ahead and compare length. They're fairly similar.
Longer.
No, mine's a little longer.
Oh, yours is longer?
Yeah, mine's longer. Yeah, it's okay. And that makes sense. We have a longer receiver to accommodate a larger round. Now, that being said, this guy right here has an 11.5-inch barrel, and still we're getting similar velocities between these two. However, this guy is firing a 113 grain projectile, while this is firing 55 to 62 grain. So there's a difference. We're going to go ahead. We're going to try out the recoil differences between the two. Yeah.
Stand by. Up. 5, you're just, 6, SIG is disqualified.
SIG is disqualified on this one.
Dude, ready,
Yeah.
stand by. Up. You can go a lot faster.
I can.
Isn't the point to kind of like show the recoil as fast as you can pull
I was
the trigger?
doing a build drill.
This
Okay,
is like, yeah,
you're gonna
I can
beat
do
me.
that too.
Okay, you can beat me. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Up. Ah!
But I mean, to be fair, I've shot like 1,000 rounds on this. You
Yeah,
shot
just today.
You shot 7.
7.
Next up, we have the URGI 11.5.
All right, stand by. Up. Even the sound.
Okay.
Yeah, clean.
Okay. 5.56 has no recoil. It feels like a toy.
It feels and sounds like a toy.
Stand by. Up.
Dude, it actually feels like a gas-powered airsoft gun. Like going from that to this is just it.
Okay, obviously there's a lot more power when it comes to the Shorty Spear. So it's always a question of how much recoil can you handle and what can you control. I mean, I'm going to say it that the URGI is such a refined system at this point. It's hard to kind of compare the two.
Yeah. I don't know if every shooter is capable of shooting that. I'm going to be completely honest.
It definitely has its place. It's a very powerful round coming out, but you definitely get the recoil with it.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we've done that, let's go ahead and let's run an auto.
Jeez.
We're now going to run full auto on both guns. Now, to be clear, the Spear has 20 round mag versus the URGI, which has a 30.
Ready?
Yep. Dude, that was pretty good.
It was all right. It was good. No, that was good.
9 out, 11 in.
I'd be lying if I said that my vision the whole time was kind of just like zzz, like I didn't really see much.
I feel you. Well, we can let's put a new target up.
On you.
4, 5 out, 15 in. I'll take it.
Yeah.
That was
I'd
took me
say
from
pretty similar dispersion.
Yeah,
for the
pretty
most
similar
part. Yeah. I guess now we do that.
yeah. Cool. That was very, very easy to control. All right, Micah, you're up.
All right.
You're on you. Awesome.
I kind of let it go there at the end. I could feel it do the upside down McDonald's logo.
Oh,
but-
yeah.
Yeah,
Classic.
pretty much.
Okay, so obviously the URGI has way less recoil. I'm a little bit biased, of course, because I did carry URGI at the very end of my career, and I loved it. It's a very light recoil. It's a very capable weapon. With a 14.5 URGI, you can reach out to about 500-600, and with the 11.5, easily out to 400-500. Obviously, the Spear Shorty is going to give me more capability in terms of armor penetration, in terms of dealing with foes who might have armor or reaching further than this guy right here. However, it's really hard to make that switch because this guy is just so light recoil. Now, that being said, we can't predict what foes will be going up against or what we'll need. So I can see the need for not specialty, but for possibly a more powerful round to defeat certain types of armor. But certainly the lover of the URGI in me finds it hard to make that transition. So we talked a lot about that. Let's go ahead and let's see what happens when we shoot it through gel. Right here we have clear ballistics gelatin. Now, if you've seen our other video, we'll put up a little video right here. We've previously tested the 277. We know the performance going approximately 3,100 feet per second. But what about 27? Let's find out right now.
Yep.
So we probably got the tail end as it began to tumble and fragment. You can see how nice that looks right there as that projectile is opening up. And that's actually quite a bit of penetration before it begins to tumble, which means that ability of the round to travel through both cover, clothing, wood, what have you, and to get into the body and then to do the damage is exactly what we want. So
Is that the same ammo that we tested the other day?
it is.
So,
It's-
obviously the 13.7 had a bigger cavity.
Obviously, being a 13.1 on the normal Spear, that's going to do more damage. However, you can see the performance of the 9-inch is still pretty freaking good. Certainly better than what you'd see from like a 5.56, obviously. But I'm happy to know that it performs well. We've done a lot of testing on this. Let's go ahead and let's talk about this variant.
Now, this video is sponsored by Barbell Apparel. We love them for a variety of reasons, but mostly because it's built for people who are fit. Therefore, they're not going to die statistically as soon. But we are introducing right here the Covert Short. What is cool about the Covert Short? Well, quite a bit actually. Let me tell you about it as Micah models it. Right here we have their new product, the Covert Short. Let us tell you a little bit about it. First off, easy access, low visibility storage. We love it. You have a reinforced tool pocket. You have a carabiner clip loop. And of course, you have military grade 4-way stretch fabric in case you have giant thighs from squatting all day or taking raw milk. They're athletic fit and there's a lifetime replacement guarantee. They stand by everything. Guys, we love Barbell Apparel. We love the fact that they're sponsoring us. They're keeping this content free for you. So make sure you go check them out and give a big thank you to Barbell Apparel. Go check out the link right below. Love you guys. Let's get back to the video.
So we've done a lot of shooting. Now we're finally going to get into my favorite portion, which is talking. Rather than doing it on a black screen, we're doing it on the Windows XP screensaver. So it's always really fun to be able to take a hard look at a prototype that could possibly be picked up by the United States military. This is one of my favorite things I could possibly do on this channel. This is a very interesting concept. So what we're going to do right here to start off with is we're going to show you a size comparison between these two, and I'm going to collapse this buttstock a little bit to get it roughly lined up. So as you can see here, we have the Spear without the suppressor, and then we have the Shorty Spear. We have them side by side right here, and it might not seem like there's that much of a difference, but 4 inches really does make all the difference in everything. So it's actually...
That's going to piss some people off.
What, 4 inches?
4 inches?
Oh,
Is,
yeah. Well, especially Charlie.
yeah.
And the ranch hand.
Exactly.
But it's far more maneuverable, taking off a little bit of that. Think about going from the M16 to the M4. That was a 20 to a 16. That was also, well, to a 14.5. That was a huge amount more of maneuverability that you had. Now, there's a lot of very interesting facts about how this was designed, why it was designed, a lot of the thought processes behind it. But suffice to say, we have a short-barreled rifle that is pushing a 113 grain at the moment projectile, approximately 2,700 at about 40 feet per second. That's incredible. That's an incredible amount of devastation in a small package, as we can see right here. But nobody can explain it better than our favorite person from SIG, St. John. Come on, St. John. Come on, let's go. You knew I was like building
still has the stash.
you like didn't. Oh my God! We're not in the military anymore.
I can barely
retired.
concentrate.
We're retired. We don't have to.
I can retired.
Retired.
Okay, yep. Thought that word was potentially off limits. But
St. John, thank you so much for coming. Do you want to explain? Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Of course. Do you want to explain a little bit about who you are and why they should listen to you?
Really, I'm no one, but I'm the mouthpiece of everyone's hard work at SIG, and that's kind of a true story. So I work at the Defense Strategies Group, which is kind of the sales side of the product management team, the weapons development team, the special weapons team.
Aren't you guys pretty much like the skunk works of SIG?
Yeah, I mean, like the special weapons group and the product management team is. Again, I'm the guy that talks about it, right? So I'm very fortunate.
And you have a little bit of military experience.
Yeah, I did 22 years in the Army, 15 years in Ranger Regiment, and 7 years as a competitive shooter for the Army. So whatever that's worth.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Shorty Spear that we have right here? I know we've talked about it quite a bit. We have to hold it up so our lovely audience can see it.
Okay. So distracts away from this disaster a little bit.
Yeah. Well, me too. I don't look very good. I'm getting old.
Yeah, so you are.
I know.
It's kind of a unique thing, right? So if I really kind of go back in the lineage of the Spear itself, and maybe that's quite interesting, the Spear was actually born as a submission rifle for the Army CSAS, which was a 16-inch Accurai sniper rifle program back in, I believe, probably 2016. We were unsuccessful in that. We shelved the rifle itself. The Shorty version was actually developed prior to the next-gen version because we were looking for an outlet for all of that developmental effort. And so we developed a 9-inch PDW style, and we called it the MR at the time for medium rifle. And then the Army also had a medium rifle program, etc. So next-gen came around. We were like, hey, we've got the foundation for it. You know, one of the cute things about that aspect is the side charging out was born because it was originally a sniper rifle to be laid down in the prone position so that you could charge it while in the prone. There's no weight error to that, so we kept that feature on there just,
That was my first thing I said to you guys. I'm like, why not get rid of it for weight? And you're like, it's actually a net zero, change.
Yeah, because you have to hog out the receiver in order to get the...
Well, I mean, I love the FAL, so keep it.
So anyways, I enjoy it for a lot of aspects as well. But anyway, so the Shorty was actually born from there prior to the NGSW. It was shelved. The NGSW was born of that CSAS MR project into the NGSW rifle, into the Spear. But when you look at why we're coming back with kind of going back into that direction, right, a 7.62, 6.8 type PDW weapon system, realistically, the Army has an initiative where they're looking to take weight out of the guns. If you think of the M4, M16 program all the way to the M4, it was a continuous and constant evolution throughout the entirety of the procurement through the fielding of that weapon system for, 40, 50 years, and there was always improvements being made. And one of the initiatives they have is obviously always trying to lightening soldier load.
That's a weird word.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. To make it a little bit lighter and easier on the soldier to carry it. How's that?
Of course, yeah.
So, one of the things that we want to do is make sure that we highlight its capability. And then coming from the special operations community, you can obviously understand why, you look at the gun and it's kind of easy to fall in love with, right?
Sure.
It really is.
It looks hot. It looks good.
I think, Micah, you asked me last night, I think at dinner, you're like, what's your favorite gun at SIG Sauer? And it was the MR,
SIG 553.
which is the, it's yours. But it was the Shorty. It was the M7 Shorty, which was the MR, because it was just kind of a prototype weapon system, and I'm a firm believer in it. But then when you take the short barrel and you think, man, you're sacrificing some ballistic aspects of what a round can do, taking that barrel length out of it. You need to put it with our hybrid ammo, the 6.8 by 51, or any of the hybrid ammos, and all of a sudden, like you said, you're getting 2,750 feet per second out of a 9-inch barrel with a 113 grain projectile.
That's wild.
It's wildly amazing, wildly effective. So, that's really kind of the initiative, is to give you a smaller, lighter, easier handling, CQB oriented. You think of the difference between, going from a 10.3 to a 14.5 with a surefire suppressor back in the day.
4 inches.
It was an incredibly manageable and wonderful weapon system, right? Like the 10.3 or 11.5 compared to the 14.5 was everything, especially running around rooms, right? It was everything for that.
Agreed. And so kind of getting into this weapon right here, St. John, I think what's most interesting about it is the gas system, because it is fairly different from what we see on the Spear. Would you like to speak to that?
It really uses our Rattler technology and our gas trap at the end of the barrel that you'll see on the Rattler. And what that does is it actually catches the gas after the bullet leaves the chamber, compared to compared to like a gas impingement system or normal short stroke pistons or short stroke gas piston system where you have the gas hole. Another tough word to say in public.
Yeah, gas hole.
You have a gas hole, obviously drilled into the bore of the rifle, and you gather the gas as the bullet passes under pressure. This gathers the gas after it leaves the muzzle, or after it leaves the crown of the barrel in a gas expansion chamber, which then captures the gas and drives the piston. That gives you kind of some durability. When you start talking short barrel rifles, there's a lot of erosive aspects, a lot of pressure, a lot of heat. If you put the gas hole in there, what ends up happening is it erodes early, gets blown out, and then your barrel life goes significantly less.
I know.
And a blown out gas hole.
I know there's another word for it. I just can't think of it right now, but I'm positive there is a better word for that. But in any case, if you guys aren't aware, like on a 10.3 Mk18 11.5, as you're firing these full auto, that gas port will begin to erode towards the muzzle. This is standard wear when it comes to like an AR-15 or any short-barreled rifle, and it gets brutal to the point where the weapon will become inserviceable or unserviceable. What's the difference? In any case, the gas trap will help alleviate that problem.
It does, correct. Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, we're firing very high-pressure ammo, and we have a 9-inch barrel. What is our typical barrel life that we're seeing right here?
Fortunately, the same as the XM7, we're north of 10,000 rounds.
So this might seem like a psychotically low number, but even on your GIs, firing M855 Alpha 1, which is the high-pressure 5.56 round right now, you're seeing about 10K before barrels are shot out. So this is actually kind of turning out to be a standard with EPMs, which are those enhanced performance rounds that we're seeing, and those higher pressures. So this is pretty standard.
Well, and then, you really think about it from a capability perspective with the 10,000 rounds. You're shooting a short magnum performance type of a caliber, which is going to have more pressure, more heat, more erosive aspects of it. So, we overcome that with some proprietary barrel coatings and materials and things like that to help assist with that barrel life.
SIG, witchcraft.
Yeah, I think.
Fair enough. Now, moving back from here, when it comes to the rail, the big talk, I'm of course going to bring it up, but everyone's talked about barrel deflection and rail deflection, about that being a potential issue. Is there anything that you could speak to about that?
You son of a bitch.
Dude, I'm going to do it.
No, it's fine. To be frank, I'm not going to try to tiptoe around it. We had some issues when the LT was first released with the torquing of the barrel clamp, I believe. I'll probably get beat up on that back home because I think that's the reason. And then we did some redesign on the handguard itself to get rid of that flex. And then we if you look at the screws we have that anchor the handguard into the upper receiver, we made them more robust in order to give it a little bit more torque pressure on there to hold that in position.
Okay, so
that's my best job as the sales guy. I told you I'm the mouthpiece, not the actual science guy, but
that's for sure.
I think that's pretty much the right answer.
I mean, we got to bring it up because it's
Yeah,
kind
sure.
of it's kind of you know, been something that people have had questions about, and I'm sure they'll continue to have questions about,
Sure.
especially as we, you know, continue to develop this rifle out. Now, moving back from here, I want to talk about this magazine. Can you talk about this? Obviously, not specifically for this weapon,
Yep.
but can you speak to it?
So one of the things that we did through Next Gen, as you know, Next Gen was a program that was a prototype program that had basically two phases before selection. Give me that thing. 2 phases before selection, 2 prototype phases. Then once selection was made, we went into a third prototype phase. And what we realized is we could increase our reliability if we designed our own magazine. And we also added a cant, a 2-degree cant into our lower receiver to bring that feeding up, that angle of the ammunition feeding up into the chamber a little bit better.
Interesting.
So that improvement was made between phase 2 and phase 3. Okay. And by incorporating both of those, the MRBS on this rifle through the Army testing, not, you know, 6
Can you explain
MRBS.
MBRS?
Yeah, mean round between stoppages.
MRBS.
Yep, MRBS. So mean round between stoppages. So basically, how many rounds you fire between malfunctions. And by the Army test, I think they tested 5 guns, 20,000 rounds. Our MRBS was 10,000. So 1 malfunction every 10,000 rounds across 5 guns.
One malfunction every time a barrel shot out.
Yeah, it's you know, of course you got to maintain it, you got to
Sure.
wipe it down, you got to oil, you got to lube it.
Sure, it's
all
not
those types of
self-cleaning?
things. No. So
So moving down, are we seeing any other changes when it comes to the the Shorty M7 compared to the regular M7 rifle that we have right here?
no.
Otherwise, it's going to be the same thing.
Be the same. I mean, realistically, if you look at the shorter handguard, the shorter barrel, just like any other MCX, you take the handguard off, loosen the clamp, swap them out, put a new handguard on, and now you're into the Shorty.
Fairly easy.
Pretty easy.
It's a very simple swap. So if you guys aren't familiar already with the Spear here, or the Shorty Spear, you have of course, larger bolt compared to your AR-15. So we have an AR-15 for comparison right here, so you can see those two. Obviously, it's going to be larger. We have a 6.8 by 51, which is the correct metric designation for it, right? With 277 Fury. We have forward assist. Anybody argued about that yet?
Nope.
Good. Yeah, I like them.
Actually, there is no forward assist on the XM7, so there is an argument about the forward assist.
Dang. Eugene Stoner. He
So
was
that
right.
so that is the lightning aspect of it, right? To take that
Okay.
weight out of there unnecessarily.
Interesting.
And if you listen to Stoner's quotes, right, as he said.
Yeah, 100% he did. We have bolt release. We have magazine release. Obviously, it's going to be ambidextrous. And my favorite part, actually, is that the SIGs have a really, really nice trigger. I've been very impressed with them. Sophie, you want to do the trigger pull?
No, I think you do it very well, because I can't do it quite nearly as great as you can.
So feeling into the trigger pull right here, we have like a 2 millimeters of travel. We hit our wall, great let off. So we have that nice 2-stage trigger right there from the reset. Maybe about a millimeter straight. That's like a 3-pound, 4-pound trigger, like it feels like a Geisley SSAE.
It's our Matchlight Duo. I don't know the trigger pull weight on it.
Now let's feel the auto. Auto has no play into it, and then off the reset, there's no reset because we have QD slots at the back for mounting slings, and then our takedown pins, very AR-esque. And probably my biggest complaint about the Spear is that you didn't use a BCM button sock.
I forgot my tablet and pen for Mike's complaints.
Yeah, can you take that up with corporate?
Yeah, I'll probably
Could
take
you
it.
let them know? Doesn't it look better though? Go ahead, hold up that one.
Yeah, I'm not making no comments about aesthetics,
Hold
okay?
it up. Hold it up.
Okay, you let you and your viewers say
this
which
is
one
for
looks better.
the U.S. Army. Tell me which looks better, Micah. Dude, come on,
Hey, real talk.
yo.
I like chonky guns, small stock.
Dude, you have the worst taste in guns anyhow. Okay, point
The
is...
nice thing about it is it's just an AR-style buttstock that can be changed by the user.
Sure,
right?
easily changeable. Talking a little bit to our setup right here, we have just like a classic setup you'd see in SOCOM. Light with an N-Gall with a Comp M5S on a spur mount that's very sturdy, very stable. Has all the capabilities that you'd want. I like this setup quite a bit. I'm going to be honest though, I do find the recoil fairly stout. The recoil on the M7, very manageable. I would say that this is getting quite a bit more stout comparatively to the M7. So that's going to be my biggest complaint about it. But I like the firepower that we're getting from it. I like the reliability. I like the way it feels. I like the way it looks. I like everything else about it. It's just certainly going to be like, I guess, more training to get as proficient as you could with, another weapon system.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I would say is, what do you expect from a 7.5 pound 308 rifle with a 9-inch barrel, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. There's always going to be take and give.
And your trade space for that little bit more training time is, like you were talking about, is ballistic performance, right?
100%, yeah. And especially having the rounds that can penetrate armor and stuff out of this short of a package will be pretty incredible. That's some great performance.
It's an amazing gun.
Yeah, that's some great performance. I'm really interested to see further development, what gets picked up. Given that the M7's already adopted, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a short variant being used quite heavily within different forces. So
yeah, I would hope so.
That is very cool. Well, thank you for bringing this out, St. John. I can't thank you enough for bringing all these toys out for us to play with, and you rock, man. Thank you.
All right, perfect.
And then I like your mustache.
I was gonna say your mustache.
Yeah, your mustache looks good. Did you wax it before you came on?
Waxed on and waxed off.
Did he? Did he wax it?
What, before I came on right now? No, this is all day.
You want to know the biggest problem with having St. John on?
What?
Is the comments never are a discussion about the gun. It's just about it.
I know. No, it's died down. I would actually I would like to challenge the viewers to humor me with their most, egregious rip aparts of my face. I mean, it never gets old.
You're a handsome guy. I don't know.
No, God, it's a burden.
Yeah. But you're married. You're taken.
Oh yeah, and that's
yeah. So stay
100%, 100%. Stay away, ladies.
All right, guys.
I'll put my phone number in the comments just to let you know to stay away, ladies.
Yeah, I would highly recommend against that. It's only men in the comments, by the way, and they all live in their parents' basement. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you guys. This is Possible Future Military Tech, our favorite thing to do. And of course, we have to put a shout out to what, Micah? The sling.
The sling.
Onward
dude.
Research, and of
Check
course,
them out.
coming soon, which you guys should pick up, by the way, our placard.
Yeah, actually, I really have been taking a look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We made it ourselves, and fits all the spear mags.
No, it looks good. It's good low
6
profile.
mags.
I agree.
Getting plussed up. Is SIG going to buy it?
Let's talk.
There we have it. Just kidding. There's no exchange of money. Okay, guys.
Shill.
Thank you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. Train, no matter what, whatever gun you have, train with it. And then, as always, guys, we got nothing else for you except for dad advice. With
so I know this was coming.
Yeah, I know, but you are.
And I have a couple, but I thought,
like
it was more
I said,
important.
our ranch hand needs a father figure.
It's good advice for him at his age. I actually got this from my grandmother, as if grandmother advice to her grandson.
Grandmother
is
advice. That's a first.
Advised.
Yeah.
So my grandmother told me, with your money, be very frugal, obviously, right? But she said there's 3 things that you don't skimp on, and she called them the 3 T's.
Okay.
She said, if you scrimp on these things, you'll get what you paid for. Taxidermy, tattoos, and titties. And I said, Grandma, that's the best life advice I could ever have, and I'll pay full price for all 3. It's a saying.
Okay.
Cut corner.